Hey guys, it's Mark from Migraine Professional. Today we're talking about the one common denominator behind all migraines and their triggers. So really this was found in a review of a number of different studies, and they found that there was actually one common connection behind all migraines and all migraine triggers, and that was oxidative stress. So it's almost like a unifying principle that kind of tells us that it's the amount of oxidative stress, or it's the oxidative stress that is going on that our body can't deal with, that is kind of related behind every single migraine trigger and migraine. So what's important for us to understand is that this happens through the TRPA1 ion channel. So when we have oxidative stress going on in our body, more oxidative stress than our body can handle, even we could say oxidative damage, then through this TRPA1 ion channel, it actually tells the brain to create, and it sort of creates neurogenic inflammation. This leads to the cascade of sort of stress that gets exerted on the brain that creates migraines. So it's really important that we can understand it as sort of just rust. Oxidative stress is basically rust. So when you take a piece of metal, a nail, you put it out in the rain, in the air, it rusts, it turns brown, and that's basically oxygen getting at the metal, oxidizing it. It's oxidative stress on that nail. Or another simple example is you take an apple, you cut into that apple, you leave it out, it goes brown. That's oxygen creating oxidative stress onto the exposed surface of the apple, oxidizing it and making it brown. So the simplest way that we can kind of apply this to our threshold is that our body always has this balance of sort of oxidative stress and antioxidant reserves. So it's almost like two sides of the coin, where our body needs sort of oxygen and it needs to oxidate stuff and oxidize stuff, but it also needs to maintain a balance of the resources that keep it in check. And it wants to have enough so that in case something shows up that creates extra oxidative stress, it can kind of buffer that. It can keep us healthy. It can keep us from creating more damage than there already is. So it's really important that because all of our migraine triggers are connected to oxidative stress, the way we can think about it is that the more triggers that we have that are getting added to our trigger levels, the more oxidative stress we have. And then our threshold is that point where our body does not have enough coping ability, enough reserves to deal with the amount of oxidative stress that it's causing, and it starts causing oxidative damage. And this oxidative damage sets us up, and it's sort of the closer that we are to our threshold, the closer that we are to triggering a migraine, to the inflammation becoming so sort of powerful and rampant that our brain can't take it, and then a migraine gets triggered. So there's two ways that we kind of want to think about it to deal with it. So the first one is things that we want to avoid. So we want to make sure that we deal with infections first. Infections are a really big problem. Parasitic and fungal and bacterial infections are huge. And I mean, you'd think, oh, that's just a third world problem. But no, it's actually very, very common. Even in the first world, even with our hygienic standards, it's very, very common. And they're not necessarily bad. So we have to address kind of what's going on, because they might be coping for something that our body is going through. So you might not necessarily want to wipe them out, but you want to be aware if you have any parasitic or fungal infections. Like we know, like athlete's foot and dandruff are very common, but then there's lots of intestinal infections. And these are constantly adding stress to the body, adding chemicals to the blood that are creating oxidative stress and damage, and our body is constantly having to cope with these. It's like almost like a low-level sepsis. The next one is stress. So psychological stress is massive. It is huge. It creates a cascade of effects into every single system of our bodies, and there's no limit to how much destruction psychological, mental, and emotional stress can cause on our bodies. So it's really important that we have sort of coping tools, coping mechanisms and techniques that we can use in situations that we have to be put into that cause us mental and emotional stress. But we also when we're sort of not in those situations, we want to take a step back and we want to look at why those situations are causing us mental and emotional stress. Because we have to understand that the stress that is caused by our mental and emotional sort of aspects is caused by not the things that are happening to us so much as our reaction to them and our sort of ability to hold them. So emotions maybe last a minute or two when the situation happens, but anything after that, it's us kind of holding on to that. So we want to kind of address the underlying issue, whatever that may be for you. The next one is blood sugar. Blood sugar, again, it is a massive roller coaster of pain if it's not balanced. We want to make sure that we have that nice, smooth hum of energy all throughout the day. If our blood sugar is constantly up and down, up and down, up and down, we're going to be completely imbalanced. Our hormones are going to be messed up. We're going to have a terrible sort of atmosphere in our brain because our brain needs stability in its blood sugar. So you want to see what kind of, you want to talk to a nutritionist and figure out the diet that works for you, because the diet, your diet is different than everyone else's, and depending on your background, where you live, the amount of stress levels you have, the place that you are in your healing program, how your digestive function is, you will have a different diet that's ideal for you and that will suit you best. So it's important to talk to a qualified professional and deal with your diet. Make sure that you balance your blood sugar with more proteins and fats and less of the simple sugars. Next thing is oils. So oils, especially rancid vegetable oils. Rancid vegetable oils are a massive source of oxidative stress to the body. It's incredible how damaging they are. And if you have them, you have to get rid of them. So things like canola oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil, those are garbage. They do not deserve a place anywhere near you, anywhere near your food, anywhere near your family. Don't even give it to your pets. Just throw it out, get rid of it. It's a toxic waste product. For every tablespoon of vegetable oil, there are 1 million molecules of sort of oxidative molecules for every single cell in your body in just 1 tablespoon. So this is a massive amount of stress. You want to throw them out. You want to stick with cleaner oils like coconut oil, avocado oil, butter, ghee, cleaner fats, cleaner oils. So the next thing is we want to make sure that we sort of regulate the systems that are always trying to deal with stress. So the first one, top of the list, is circadian. So our circadian rhythm, that's our 24-hour clock. That's our body's natural 24-hour clock that it regulates all of its systems on. It's constantly running on a system of day, night, and it's constantly adapting its hormones and its mechanisms and its systems based on the amount of day and night outside. So when we're inside all day subjected to fluorescent lights, it's kind of skewing our circadian rhythms. If we're constantly bouncing our blood sugar up and down, our circadian cycles are going to be jumping and dropping, and we're going to have an inverted circadian rhythm. So if, for example, you find that you get a lot of energy at night, that's actually a bad sign. That's a sign that your cortisol, your stress and energy hormone, is going up at night when it should be going down. So in a regular, healthy person, you wake up in the morning, you have lots of energy. That energy in the evening, that energy starts to kind of slow down. It helps you wind down. And then by nighttime, you're ready for sleep. You stay asleep the entire night. You don't wake up. You wake up in the morning, again, feeling rejuvenated, relaxed. That's the sign of a good, clean circadian rhythm. So you want to make sure that you're avoiding blue lights. It's a spectrum of light given off of screens and fluorescent lights. You want to avoid them in the evenings. You want to use things like migraine glasses, which are, they're the little, if you've seen them, they're like orange glasses. They help block blue light. You want to make sure that you're always, every day, that you're getting some direct sunlight, because this goes through your eyes and this helps tune your body's circadian cycles. So it's really important that you kind of make sure that you're keeping a fairly steady cycle. So you're going to sleep at the same times, you're waking up at the same times, you're sleeping at night, you're awake in the day. Very simple. And like it's been shown, like shift work is a known carcinogen because of its massive effect on the body when you deregulate circadian rhythm, circadian cycles. Every single cell in our body functions on the circadian rhythm. Next thing, of course, whenever you're dealing with oxidative stress, you want to have antioxidant support. So antioxidants are a giant group of nutrients. They can be found in all your whole foods. So you want to stick with fruits and vegetables. Berries are amazing. Fruits and vegetables are a huge source of antioxidants. But again, you want to make sure that you get them raw. You want to get them you want to get them whole and as close to the natural source as possible. Like a French fry is a vegetable, but it's not a potato. It's very different than a potato. It does not possess the same nutritional qualities, and food is medicine. So when you treat your food as medicine, you'll get a lot back, and your body will be able to maintain its antioxidant reserves in the face of stresses. Next one is grounding. So grounding has been clinically shown to act as almost like a secondary antioxidant reserve for the body. So throughout our evolution, as we evolved, our body evolved the system of releasing excess electrons, which are oxidative. They're like free radicals. Excess electrons are free radicals, and they create oxidative stress in the body. So the easiest way to think of it is that our body is like a battery. So whenever it has too much charge, it's sort of not dealing with its oxidative stress. There's oxidative stress going on. So our body evolved this process over millions of years to actually, by touching the earth, it's almost like a battery letting go of its extra charge into the earth. And so this has actually been clinically shown to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. So any chance that you can get, go out, connect with the earth, touch the earth. Touching the earth we've evolved with it over millions of years. For millions of years, we touched the earth. We slept on the earth. We were on the earth all day, touching it barefoot. It has only been in the last 50 years and the last 100 years with the massive rise in chronic disease that we have kind of disconnected ourselves from the earth. We started wearing rubber soles. We started living in houses that are far up off of the earth. We started living inside all day. We almost never touch the earth, especially in winter. So it's really important to get outside, make contact with the earth, do sports or activities or recreational things that are fun outside that help you connect to the earth, because that acts as almost like an out of body antioxidant reserve that helps you deal with extra oxidative stress. Last one is environmental toxicity. So again, our environment has drastically changed in the last 100 years, and a lot of the things that we put on our skin, the things that we clean with, the things that we put in our air, on our food, in our water, the sort of furniture in our house, all of these things are off-gassing, and they all contain chemicals that can be very oxidative and stressful to the body. So we want to check and we want to make sure that we aren't sort of introducing carcinogens, introducing more chemical pollutants than we need to. So it's really important that we clean up our environment, clean up our skincare, our hygiene products, our cleaning products, our cooking products. Those are really big sources, and they're going directly onto us. So it's important that we sort of get them as clean as possible, because they are adding to our oxidative stress and that burden and that inflammation. It's clogging up our liver, and it's causing a lot of strain on our organs of detoxification. The common denominator is oxidative stress. We want to make sure that we are always balancing between sort of the amount of oxidation that we need and the amount of oxidation that we're kind of helping to balance. So it's simple. The way we can think of it is rust. Our body is rusting when there's more oxidative stress than we can deal with, and that through a couple of the techniques that we've talked to, you'll be able to drastically reduce the amount of oxidative stress load on your body And I'll link in the description below an article on the one common connection behind migraines and how it'll go into more on stress and how to deal with oxidative stress. Thanks. Hey, it's Mark from Migraine Professional. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe in the bottom left corner so that others can find this information as well. If you want to learn more about migraines than you've ever known before and how to deal with them, make sure to go to our website. Thanks.